Have you ever gotten that eerie feeling that something ancient and powerful is happening right beneath your feet? Or in this case, beneath 13,000 feet of crushing black ocean? Because lately, the ocean is acting strange. Really strange. Deep-sea monsters surfacing where they don't belong. Whales are beaching themselves in massive numbers. Oarfish, the so-called doomsday fish, are showing up before earthquakes. And now, scientists are saying that the ocean is making oxygen. In total darkness, no sunlight, no plants, no photosynthesis, just oxygen coming from rocks. What in the world is going on down there? Stick around, because what we're about to dive into might just rewrite the origin story of life itself and expose a silent threat that nobody's talking about. The surface is lying to us. We always think of the ocean as a blue, peaceful surface. But that's a lie. Beneath that serene blanket is another world, a cold, crushing alien landscape we've barely explored. And now, it's making itself known. Let's start with the oarfish. Ever heard of it? It looks like a silver ribbon from a nightmare, over 30 feet long. This thing usually lives so deep, most humans have never seen one alive. But in Lanzarote, one just washed ashore, dead, glistening, out of place. To most people, that's just weird, but to Japan, that's terrifying. See, in Japanese folklore, oarfish are harbingers of disaster. The ancient belief is that they rise before tsunamis and earthquakes. Guess what happened before the 2011 Fukushima earthquake? Oarfish spotted near the coast. Coincidence? Maybe. But then whales start beaching themselves. 150 false killer whales in Tasmania. All at once. Most didn't survive. No clear cause. Just a mass surrender. Why? Sonar, currents, magnetic field disruption, or something deeper? And that's where things get really weird. Oxygen where it shouldn't exist. So while strange creatures were popping up on our shores, something else was happening, but this time far beneath the waves. 13,000 feet under the Pacific, in a place called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, which sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi novel. Scientists were doing routine seabed analysis. And then, something impossible happened. They detected oxygen being produced, not consumed, produced. That's not supposed to happen. The ocean floor is pitch black. No sunlight, no algae, no photosynthesis. So where the hell was the oxygen coming from? At first, they thought the sensors were broken. For 10 years, they kept getting the same strange readings. Oxygen in the dark. Then came the breakthrough. We might be witnessing something groundbreaking, said Andrew Sweetman, a seafloor ecologist. And he was right, because of the source. It wasn't a plant. It wasn't an organism. It was rocks. But here's the part that haunts us. What if we've been looking at the deep ocean all wrong? We treat it like a void, silent, lifeless, mostly irrelevant. But in reality, it might be Earth's original heartbeat, and that heartbeat is changing. What if the strange behavior of deep-sea creatures isn't just about climate or sonar? What if it's about oxygen, or more specifically, the lack of it? If dark oxygen is being disrupted by mining probes, temperature shifts, and chemical imbalance, could that trigger panic among the deep-sea life forms? Imagine living in stable darkness for millennia, only to suddenly feel your environment lose its ability to breathe. What would you do? You'd flee, you'd rise, you'd surface, even if it meant death. And maybe that's exactly what's happening. The geobattery mystery. Imagine this, metallic nodules sitting on the seafloor forming naturally over thousands, maybe millions of years. They look like space potatoes, but inside them, nickel, copper, manganese, lithium, cobalt. These are the same elements we mine to build batteries. Now imagine thousands of these nodules grouped deep under salt water. What happens when you combine metal, salt water, and time? You get electricity, a natural geobattery. And where there's electricity, there can be electrolysis, meaning water molecules split, releasing hydrogen and, you guessed it, oxygen. In total darkness, generated by the Earth itself, just 1.5 volts, the same as an AA battery, is enough to split water molecules. And these nodules were outputting close to that. When clustered, even more. The conclusion? The ocean floor is alive with electrochemical reactions. Silent, hidden, but potent. Dark oxygen. Think about that. Life before light. Now here's where the conspiracy theories start to bubble up. Not crazy, just curious. We've always believed life began in sunlight, that photosynthesis was the kickstarter of aerobic life. But if oxygen can be created without sunlight, then maybe life didn't start in the light. Maybe it started in the dark, in the crushing blackness of the deep sea. Think about early Earth, violent, volcanic, no ozone, no clear skies. Where could life have first found the oxygen it needed? Maybe here, in the ocean's hidden circuits, in these quiet geobatteries pulsing with invisible life force. This flips our entire origin theory on its head. You know how we've always struggled to define dark matter, the mysterious substance holding galaxies together? Well, doesn't this feel eerily similar? Dark oxygen. Another force, invisible, foundational, and barely understood. What if there's a pattern? What if these dark elements, matter, energy, oxygen, aren't just leftovers or anomalies? What if they're clues to a different layer of existence? One that doesn't follow the rules we know. One that's been quietly keeping everything alive. And now, as we dig deeper, drill harder, and mine faster, we're pulling at the wires of a system we don't even recognize. Maybe life didn't evolve from chaos. Maybe it was engineered by the ocean. And here's the real kicker, we might be about to destroy it. A silent warning. Remember those polymetallic nodules? They're now the hottest target for deep-sea mining. Billions of dollars are being poured into scraping the seafloor to fuel our green energy revolution. EV batteries, phones, laptops. The minerals in those modules are critical. But here's the part no one talks about. The last time we mined the seafloor in the 1980s, we left behind dead zones. 30 years later, not even bacteria had returned. And in the unmined areas, marine life was thriving, more diverse than tropical rainforests. Now imagine mining the area that breathes oxygen into the dark. What happens when we rip out the geobatteries? What happens to the deep-sea creatures, the anglerfish, the oarfish, the bioluminescent life forms who depend on this hidden oxygen? What if their sudden appearance at the surface isn't random? What if it's a warning? The ocean is talking. So here we are. Oarfish are rising. Whales are beaching. Deep-sea life is surfacing like it's gasping for breath. And now, scientists tell us the ocean floor is quietly producing oxygen, a force of life we never understood, never even imagined. But instead of protecting it, we're racing to mine it. Because we want better batteries, cleaner energy, progress. But what if progress without understanding is just blind destruction? What if, in our pursuit of green, we wipe out the only part of Earth that still remembers how life began? The ocean is vast, ancient, silent, but not dumb. It's talking, through strange signals, through bizarre appearances, through dark oxygen. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we start listening. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, then you're probably asking the same question as we are. What else is the ocean hiding? Because if rocks can breathe and monsters can rise, what else might be lurking in the deep? Hit that like button if your mind is blown, and subscribe for more deep dives into Earth's weirdest mysteries. This is just the beginning. See you in the next one. Until then, stay curious.